following material contains strong language and adult content. Please be advised.
This is the Comfortably Poor Podcast, an uncensored, wide open, anything and everything goes podcast. You won't find anything like it. And why is that? Because the Comfortably Poor Podcast keeps it 100. Let's go.
Yo.
In the building.
Happy Sunday. No more football. We had a Puerto Rican 50-year-old shaking her fat ass on the fucking screen last week. It was beautiful.
Never enough of it.
Big shout out Vince McMahon with the WWE.
Fuck the XFL. XFL is fake.
Off this weekend.
It's a snooze.
XFL,
it's fake.
Baby.
Get out of here. You couldn't even last.
They got real NFL
and Opie
players
and Anthony,
in the
shut
XFL.
your shit down.
They got real players in the XFL. Don't hate. Let's go Seattle Dragons. Let's get that shit. Come on, Seattle Dragons.
The Dragons, you fucking pussy.
They got the Houston Roughnecks. What's that shit supposed to mean? Houston Roughnecks?
Oh, my, holy shit.
You don't see it.
Is that an innuendo or what?
Yeah. Oh, you want to just jump into innuendos?
How are you, fellas? Oh, that's a bad one.
It is cold as shit out here.
We'll jump to that clip in a minute just because you brought it up. But yeah, another week has gone by. Check out our past episodes from this week, Comfortably Poor Podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast at. Big shout out to Lisa Concepcion. Came on. Love coach, love strategist. Great interview with her. Check that out. A lot of good tidbits.
She was a sweetheart.
There.
She gave a lot of good shit, man.
Yes. Phone lines are open. Toll free 844-997-0775 or 442-244-9900. Hit us up, #CP
Listen, fellas,
on Twitter.
I'm going to have to go the super older wave.
Go for
with you. No, I'm just saying, I'm going to have to go the older wave because listening to that conversation, the interview that we did with her again.
With Lisa?
With Lisa. I learned a lot. You got to reevaluate some things, man.
Oh, like older the berry, sweeter the juice.
Yeah.
Touche. I'll give you that.
I mean, I could have easily
to an older
that
one.
shit, bro. That's
yeah.
Oh my God, I love you, fellas. You guys will. I want to be you when I grow up.
You should strive to be us as you grow up.
Bro, you'll know that you've achieved official Brandodom when you slide into some pussy.
That's a
and
t-shirt.
the fucking walls start fucking screaming at you like, yes, you're home. Yes, you've made it home. It's the type of pussy that they gave you a standing ovation when you entered.
Welcome.
Yes.
You know when you enter a new city and there's a big welcome sign in the city? That's like what the pussy's saying to you. It's like, welcome,
That's what the pussy says. Yes.
Yeah. It's just a big welcome sign.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, if you want to chat with us during the show, again, real quick, #CPChat and @CPPod100. Mainly on Twitter. That's where it pops most off for us. Twitter's where it's at. So.
And also, let's solicit it out here on the live. We are looking for a roundtable discussion with 3 women. You got to be open, be able to roll with the punches. You know what I'm saying? Handle 3 men throwing questions at you and challenge us, right? But it's going to be a fun time and a roundtable of good shit. So make sure you reach out to us on all social media platforms. In order for us to kind of like vet the situation and get the right set of females. Can we call you females? And you'll not get upset at us. Get the right set of females on this podcast, and
I'm looking for straight
get
bitches.
some talking. I know some bitches. We can get some like mean-spirited bitches on here.
Hey, I don't mean to do it.
You want ratchet hoes? What do you want?
Motherfucking Vince Staples. What a lady.
You want ratchets?
What a hoes. What a bitches.
I want one of I want a Hispanic, a black, and a white. Like, if we can really work that and get the different perspectives, that shit will be fire.
I think that'd be ingenious.
That'd be fire, because that's kind of like the setup that we have here.
Yeah, I think
It's literally the setup we have here.
Yeah, but if you've noticed that a lot of black people don't agree with me though, like a lot of the
No,
things I
but
say are just way out.
Yeah, but
there.
you got the dick to talk about it. You got the
I
you know,
do.
the-
That dick is on deck.
the
It is
equipment.
here.
You have the equipment to be able to speak like a black and for the blacks.
I have the doorway spreading battering ram that my type was born with.
All right.
Innate.
Can we move on before I get jealous? So speaking of blacks and innuendos.
Oh my god, that's wonderful.
By the way, if you want to reach out to us, all social media platforms, all the same, CPPod100 and Facebook.com/CPPod100. And the phones as well. You can also leave us a voicemail and let us know that you're interested that way. 844-997-0775. Adam.
Yes. All right,
what
so
do we
you
got?
brought up innuendos earlier.
I had to. This one really kind of like, whoa, how did they not know, bro?
This was something that was in network television. Came up recently. So let's just get this to play. And pay attention to the sequence of the letters here. Just to preface this is the game of Wheel of Fortune for anybody that doesn't pick up on this from the clip. There's got to be some more to this here. Once this gets loaded up. Okay. Should. And of course, I got it on the wrong sound card. Give me 2 seconds. This was the way. This is gonna be,
Christ.
This is the way our show goes. It happened last week too, but
It's comfortably poor, man. It's comfortably poor, bro. I don't honestly.
Look,
hold
we're not
any
your typical studio.
expectations
We
on
don't
anything
run
going
with
right.
any sort of professionalism whatsoever. We don't
Facts.
claim that. We don't own any of that.
I'm not trying to play up anything. For years, I was called an arrogant prick. You're going to see somebody who's not trying to be arrogant. I don't give a shit. Now you're going to hear my most unprofessional.
It's just, we're raw, uncut. It says it in our description, people. You get
Yeah,
what
man.
you get. You get what you pay for. Oh wait, you don't pay for shit. So this is what you get.
It's free. It's like FM
Yeah.
radio. The reason why it'll last is because it's free.
Exactly. All right. Here we go. This should go now. Again.
This kind of
pay
shook me
attention
up a
here.
little bit, y'all. I was like, hold the fuck up.
It's
600.
N.
There happen to be two N's. Yep. Got a free play.
I.
Yep, two I's.
So he's got an N. She's got an I. Can anyone guess the next letter?
500.
C as in
The
knickers.
devil, you say. And there was two of them.
I and E.
And we have two E's.
No.
for you.
Of course you would.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
Same ladies.
650.
R.
What?
And here come three R's.
3 R's.
And the video's gonna cut off here in a second. But they definitely
Bruh.
the letter that you say. J. just their cut.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah, it cuts off. They,
not hear
they
that.
definitely say S.
Oh wow,
Holy shit.
that's
That is not real, yo.
Like, there's got to be there. They did that on purpose, right?
Oh, 1,000%.
I would.
Now,
well,
the only downfall, we're not.
fucking know.
All these
You know,
game
this is
shows,
the-
all these game shows are completely not scripted to the point where, you know, they know who the winners are going to be. But producers sometimes fuck around with the audience or the contestants.
But they guessed those letters in that order for a reason, right? They didn't guess those letters in that order.
I want to
see what
hope
you're
maybe that
saying.
person.
Yeah,
you mean
yeah,
that
yeah.
person?
I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
those contestants.
Okay.
Because they have to
yes.
guess the letters.
One-
Like, the puzzle is up there, sure, and they could have known that those letters were in there, but
and they could have
guessed
completely
those
done
letters
it out
in
of
that
order
order.
if they knew.
yes, they could have
Like-
went G N E
Or maybe-
I R. Like,
Or what if they were just trying it? They were just like,
that's what I think it
I want to
is.
see.
And we can't
Yeah,
totally
they were
tell
just
from the,
probably
from
like,
the clip, but I think they're black women. So I'm curious
No,
if this is
what?
like a joke. That it's like a.
Wait, hang
thing
on.
This
for
has
them.
to be like
the
a prank.
the people watching the clip, or are you talking about the
people
in
on
the
the
actual
game,
game
on
show?
the Wheel of Fortune.
Oh,
The people on the game
I
show who spelled
believe-
this out were black?
I
that's
believe
why
so.
I don't think that.
Don't quote
I
me
thought
on
they
this.
were white.
I believe so.
I thought they were white. Actually, that's the vibe I get, but I could be wrong. I don't really have a lot. Look. I don't have a lot to say on this. This is kind of proving my point about earlier. I honestly think that there are. I mean, the order of the letters was done for a reason. There's something racial behind the ordering of the letters. However, as far as things that can be, put together from those words, I mean, if it was just that by itself, that right there seems is set up to be provocative. Could it have been something else? It's within the realm of possibility. Is it likely?
Well, it makes me want to
that's
hear the
when
rest.
But
of
those
it.
are
I want to
letters-
know what the answer to the puzzle was.
And that's the thing.
Well, me too.
I want to know
Me
what the
too.
full
Like, it's
sentence
very-
is
it's
because
very
if you're going to
incomplete.
just. Yeah, if you're just going to leave that bit in there but not give the sentence, like those letters are part of words in sentences. You're making up a sentence.
Right. Well, that's kind of what
It's
I said.
not like-
the way the clip is set up right
Yeah.
now. It's set up to be inflammatory. It doesn't have to be. That
Gotcha,
could
yeah.
be. It could go on to be something completely innocent. but
Yeah.
It looks
No,
bad.
I got. But it's just, I think still, even the fact that you would put that in that order is crazy. That's crazy. You could have done R, you could have done N, you could have done GS.
Well, I think that's why I think that they went in with a purpose. Like that's a purposeful
Right.
way to lay those letters out.
So then if that's the case, I don't think that I
I
don't think it was the thing. I don't think it was
There
the
was-
producers then at this case. The
Right,
contestants
yeah.
chose then to
And granted, there
say it
was
in that
they say
order.
N and there was two N's, but then they say I. There's only one. They say G. There's two G's.
and there's two
say E.
G's.
There's one. They say R. There's only one. Like it.
No, there
it
was
couldn't
three
have-
I
R's.
thought
There
there were
was
three R's.
Oh, was there three R's?
Three
Okay,
Rs.
okay, okay.
There was three
It may have
R's.
been
Yeah.
three R's. But I don't know.
But I'll
That's
give
just,
them that. But yeah, no. But that's the thing. It's part of other words. So now we need to see. I need to see that full fucking puzzle.
yeah, exactly. And I want
And
to
I
know
will
what
be.
the
I will
puzzle
not
was,
be
like,
rest assured about
is
this
it
clip
noun?
until I see that.
Like,
full
was the
fucking
puzzle category noun? Like proper noun?
That's what I was gonna say. Like I don't know the
Things you don't want
contextualized
next door to you.
question, so it's actually hard to say.
Aggressive.
The organism is most likely to steal your woman.
Was that too much?
Aggressive. Coming in hot. came in hot saying people you don't want living next door to you. Jesus. I love my black
Yeah,
neighbors.
if you have people like that living next door to you, the real estate prices go down.
The what?
And the crime rate goes up.
I said
yeah.
if you have people like that living next door to you, the real estate prices go down.
Brando is stoned off his ass right now.
Well, actually,
Are you
I'm
stoned?
tired,
Shut
dude.
your mouth. He's like, don't be sorry.
Actually, no. I have not smoked at all. For this episode.
Hello, housekeeping.
I'll smoke for you.
I'm tired though, as hell.
Answer this.
Yeah,
How much
I
you
know
charge a
that was-
minute?
Yeah. But I wanted to go back to this too, so I'm not gonna play this whole clip. But this was interesting only because at the beginning, Dan, you had talked about the Super Bowl a little bit, and Jennifer Lopez, 50-year-old woman, doing a basically stripper dance during the halftime show.
I'm not mad at
it. I wanna
fucking hit that.
I came across this video, and there's some points here. There is some points here. I think this person is a complete lunatic and is a nut job. But
This is that Christian
I
shit,
do
but
see, yes,
we
I
still can
do
talk about
see
it.
some points that could be made here. So it's a 5-minute clip. We're probably not going to get through it all because, like, the first minute, the points
No.
that I'm curious to know about are made. So let's try to listen to this and see what we can get out. This is a Christian man who's very upset with the way the halftime show went down
very upset.
during the Super Bowl.
They won't even let you talk about homos on Facebook. I want to sue him. I want to sue him. I want to sue him for about $867 trillion.
What we saw yesterday was a strip club performance at halftime of the Super Bowl. And you would say, well, Coach, you can turn it off. You don't have to watch it. Well, that's true. I could. But unfortunately, that was streaming into the homes of people before they had any idea. There was no warning. There was no caution under the age of 18 or caution under the age of 13. We're watching a football game. People turn in to watch a football game, and the next thing you know, what do you have in front of you? You've got debauchery.
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 Are we going to protect our children or not?
Listen to me.
Are we? Once you consider this.
You don't think your
I've asked
kids are
several
looking at
people
this shit
today, and they
online
didn't know-
already?
They didn't really know what to tell me because I said,
Dude,
Coach, you gotta
there's
just
so
turn it
much
off.
more.
If you don't like it, just turn it off. Well, I tuned in as did millions of people, tuned in to watch a football game. I didn't tune in to watch a porn show. I didn't. That's not why I
You
tuned
never
in.
got a porn show. If you thought that was porn, you haven't seen any. Okay,
Last time
look,
I
first
remember,
off,
porn
This
was,
guy has kids, right?
Yeah,
This
and
guy
he's
has
gonna get
kids?
no,
into
dude,
that.
but
He's gonna get
Dude,
into
but-
that.
So he's had sex. I hate when
Yes.
they do this.
Yeah, but
they act
no,
like
no, no,
sex
no,
is
no.
such a fucking.
who the
But hold on,
hell?
let me. I want to. Hopefully, this will play from the right start. There's a few more.
There was no warning.
Yeah, here goes. Okay.
I've asked several people today, is it possible?
This
Could
one
I
here.
could I take my daughter? I have two very attractive daughters. Could I take my daughters and go into a local school and make a presentation with them dressed like Jayla was dressed last night? Take them into 4th, 5th, 6th grade class, and
Why
let my
would you
daughter
do
sit
that?
down and twerk. And do
Why would you do
crotch
that?
shots,
Crotch
pole
shots.
dancing. Could
Why
I do that
would you do that?
in a local public school?
Yes, you could, but why would you
I don't
do
think so.
that? No, you could.
Why are they allowed to pump that right into my home without my approval?
It's simple.
Say, well, again, Coach, what's free
Your
speech?
approval.
It's free speech, and you don't have to watch the football game. You're missing the point.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so that's mainly what I wanted to get through there. I don't look. Provocative clothing is worn on TV every day. I've watched newscasts with broadcasters wearing very low-cut blouses and things like that when I could see in mini skirts and the hot weather lady in a mini skirt, maybe not a mini skirt, but a short skirt, high heels, low cut top, and all this kind of stuff. There is provocative clothing on television all day long. But I do kind of see his point a little bit, or understand. Maybe his example is not the best example, but I do kind of understand where he's coming from with his daughters going somewhere and taking his daughter somewhere and letting them do a dance, a provocative dance, whatever you want to call it, strip dance.
That's a terrible
whatever you want
point.
to call it.
That's not the
what's
same.
The difference of it?
That's a horrible
the
point.
same.
You
How
want
is
to
it
know what the
different?
difference is?
How is it not?
How is it not?
You wanna
How
know
is
what the
it? How
difference
is
is?
it not? How is it completely different to take your 6th grade, 7th grade, 5th grade daughter to school in provocative clothing and have her do a dance, as opposed to
Well, he didn't say
having
how
a
old his
paid-
daughters were. He was saying
No, he
50-year-old
did.
woman
No,
who's
he
been-
didn't say how
who's
old they
had
were.
a-
What he
an
gave
illustrious
specific
career.
grades. He gave 6th, 7th, and 8th grades, something like this, right?
No,
In
that was
age
not his
bracket.
daughters. That was if he wanted to
No,
take
it didn't
his
have.
daughters.
It doesn't have to be his
to
daughters.
those grades.
Any person. You make it 12th grade, 11th, 12th grade high school. Make it college even. It doesn't make a fucking difference. A person who's hired to do a performance, a paid performer who's hired to do a performance at a public venue where those type of performances are expected and prepared for, as opposed to going to a hall of academia and shaking your ass. Like, the category error is scarily.
Yeah, dude. There's no comparison.
But what if that school paid for that performance? Then it's different.
Why
The thing is
no, it's
that they're
different,
not
because the
going
school
to.
should
They're not going
it
to.
would be-
But
They're not. They shouldn't.
But they could.
They.
I think
well,
that's
then
kind of
that
the
would
point
But
that
be-
he's
they
trying to
shouldn't.
make.
This is the Super Bowl. The
shouldn't.
Super Bowl's not school.
So
You're
the
right.
school. You're saying the school can hire. The school should hire.
What if
or
they
could hire
hired? What
provocative
if the school
dancers.
hired Jennifer Lopez and Shakira to put on a performance in their auditorium, and they came out and did
Do
the
you
same
think they
exact
would be
performance?
shaking their
I would
ass
say
at the
hang on,
auditorium?
hang on.
That's
Yeah, exactly. Like,
That's on the
and do you also
performer
think-
to structure their performance based on wherever they're going to be performing, right?
And do you think the performer?
You're not
who's
gonna go
actually
to a
doing
live-
that is
you're not gonna
shaking
go to
their
a
ass at
fucking-
5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 12th grade, all the same? You think
Say
they're
that again?
putting on the same performance? Do
You're
you think
not-
they're putting on the same performance?
You're not gonna
in
go to
every
a li-
location.
That's the
Yeah, you're not
argument
gonna
that
go to
he's
a library?
That's the argument that he's making, is that the Super Bowl is one of the largest watched sporting events. And there are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old boys, women, girls, whatever, watching this with their parents, kids that are aspiring athletes, and they watch this halftime show. That's the point that he's trying to make.
Guess what? Aspiring
Is that
athletes don't give a fuck about the halftime show.
All right, can I point something
They
out?
maybe
That's interesting?
don't, but as a 10-year-old, it's different because this 10-year-old is still like, whoa, what's
Bro.
going on here? And as a parent, he's just
Bro.
saying, like, what are we doing here by showing this on TV?
You're going to look for it. If you want to find it, you're going to look for it. He probably has some Playboy
100% agree
magazine
with
still
that.
hidden up.
Facts.
All right? He
100%.
probably really has a box of old DVDs and some VHS that he used to wank it to, my G. This man
think
is a
that, again, the
nasty
point-
ass white man who's trying to fucking suppress his fucking.
But again, his
he's trying to
point-
do this
What?
shit to
I
make
get
up
his-
for all the
hang on.
bad shit he jerked off to when he was younger. That's what it is.
He's trying to get Jesus to
Hang
forgive him.
on. Look, I
He
get,
jerked off to a lot of schoolgirl porn, and he's now really regretting it because he has
Good
daughters.
choice.
Listen. I get his point. The problem is, his point is, if you don't want your 10-year-old, 12-year-old, however old, if you don't want your child seeing certain things, then you don't expose them to those things. Now, if you slip up and they see some shit, they see some shit. Perfect example, the beach, all right? Typically, the reason we go to beaches are to swim, to have fun in water, to sunbathe. In order to do those things, we wear clothing that is more revealing, we wear clothing that's more refreshing, clothing that is easier to move around in, comfortable stuff, swimwear, summer wear. It's hot. So skin comes out. Now, at the beach, you're going to see people in revealing clothing. All of those people who
See, I think this is a gray area. I think we're getting into...
Well, I agree it's a gray area, but the whole thing is a gray area in and of itself. You don't want your kid to see titties.
But see, you're
don't take
saying
them outside
going
of
to
the
the
house.
beach where you know that there are going to be swimsuits worn. You're at the beach where water is. You're going to swim.
You're turning on the television, and you're turning on the television.
You turning on sex sells. Sex sells.
Agree.
Yes, a sporting
agree.
event.
But his
what are you gonna do?
Point is that in these circumstances, in the largest sporting event, is that it could have been pulled back a little bit. It didn't need to be so in your face about it.
Yeah,
No.
It didn't have to
I'm
be.
sorry.
It didn't have to be.
And
They have. You know what these kids have access to?
This is what I do.
You know what these kids have access to?
I love that.
Worldstar
I thought it was great.
and YouTube.
Agree. 100%. 100%.
They have access to see
iPads,
titties,
their iPhones,
pussy,
10-year-old, 9
fucking
and 10
the
100%.
porn sites are free, and you can easily just search porn in Google, and all the biggest porn sites come up. Okay, it's not hard.
Look, bro. Look. On the news right now, tonight, there's going to be a graphic story about someone being murdered, right? Someone got shot up. Someone's brains are all over whatever they were sitting in front of. Blood's everywhere. There's going to be a very violent story on the news tonight, all right? That story right there is no different auditorily. I'm sorry, look, there's no different, as far as its explicit content. The only difference is that's something that you're experiencing auditorily. The other one is something you experience visually.
But do you think
most people, hang on.
9, 10, 11-year-old kids are sitting down and watching the news with their parents?
I think 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds are still in the room and their parents don't care nearly as much if they hear about those violent stories as opposed to if they see Jennifer Lopez shaking her ass.
Yeah.
I think America is sensitive and is repressive when it comes to sex, and so the fact that you've got some Bible thumper, it doesn't even have to. I'm shitting on Christians because that's an easy target, but it doesn't have to be. Let's say some far right ultra conservative anyone who's got repressed ideas about sex or ridiculously conservative ideas about sex. And I don't want to shit on the conservative ideas about sex. If you have them, by all means. I'm sure you came about them honestly. It takes all types to make the world go round. But the thing is, you are allowing the world into your home. All right? And when you allow the world into your home, you're not guaranteed on what you're going to get. There's certain things the FCC will not allow. We know, for example, that they weren't nude. All right? It could have been a lot worse, right? They weren't nude. They weren't wearing full ankle-length robes either. They were wearing revealing attractive clothing that they know the majority of the population, women and men, could appreciate for different reasons, sure, but could definitely appreciate. You have children, you don't want them to see that. Just like with the news, so-and-so was shot in a 1400 block of, okay, Sally, we need you to leave the room. The second you saw what you thought was going to be a nipple, you should have told Sally and Jacob to get the fuck out of the room for about 15 minutes.
Turn your head. Get the fuck out.
Well, this was the big ordeal a few years back with Janet Jackson, right? Because she had the nipple slip. And then that sent everybody into, there was a whole titty. A whole titty was on the TV screen, and Justin Timberlake, that was the next big thing, and that got all the Christians.
He revealed the breast, and she had the nipple ring. She had the big triangle nipple ring.
Is that what it was? Yeah, that's right. There was some over a nipple. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she had a big ass
in an uproar about that, and
that's
so I
honestly,
agree with
bro,
what you're saying. I just can
from the radio perspective,
I can understand
that's literally
his point too.
That's literally what changed everything. You know when shit started getting really sensitive?
That
was the Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake thing. That was the thing because they got sued so much money that all these companies started taking precaution. And they were like, fuck that. We don't want any problems. Nothing. And that's when all the lawyers started coming and everything. And now, I was actually shocked that they allowed this on the Super Bowl this year, being that happened at the Super Bowl in 2004. 16 years later, and we have a girl wrapping her fucking, 50-year-old performer wrapping her legs on a pole. You know what I mean? Look, man, here's the deal. Sam in the comments brought up a really good point that this is a race thing. This white guy wouldn't be complaining if it was a white woman on stage. But because it was ethnic women.
I don't know.
That's
about
a
that.
tough one. I'm gonna disagree.
And
with
I do
that.
believe that. I believe that. I believe if there was a Taylor Swift up there or some country star who was wearing some mini skirt and showing a little bit of leg and showing
I cut it off after like a
some
minute.
cleavage.
I cut it off after like a minute, but he does dive into the whole Christian Bible thing. I think this is it's not a race thing. This is a religious thing. This is God doesn't want our young children to see this content. Jesus says this and Jesus says that. Like, it gets deeper into that stuff. I just didn't want to. I don't like all that bullshit. That's just a bunch of fake news. So I don't want to play.
By the way,
that part
Sam
of the
is also
video.
calling you alt-right Adam.
Hey, yo, check it out, right? Yeah.
I hope you get coronavirus.
No. Check it out. Hell no.
I don't mean that. That was fucked up. I'm sorry, Sam. Good luck on your shows, by the way. Let's go to the phone lines real quick because we got a caller that wants to say something. Let me make sure I can get that to work. Oh, no, never mind. They hung up. Sorry. If you're listening, give us a call back. Sorry.
I just want to put a bow on this real quick. You have a choice, and I think a lot of people forget they have a choice, and a lot of people want to pretend as if they don't.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people also are they're under a lot of false beliefs. And one of the biggest ones that has nothing to do with God even per se, so much as, because a lot of people who believe in God know this also. Kids seeing flesh at a young age does not scar them for life. A kid can see a person in a bathing suit dancing provocatively and be okay. Questions might get asked. There might be some things, that need to be worked out.
And do you think that's part of it, though, too? Other than the Christian thing, they don't want to be responsible to have to answer something they don't know how to explain?
I think that is part of it. I definitely think that is part of it. And actually, to what Sam was talking about, I actually think Sam is on to something to a certain degree. Like, there are people out there who do have a problem with it simply because they were Latin American, right? Not because they were dancing provocatively per se. It's because who was dancing provocatively. It's because Lopez and Shakira were dancing provocatively. I know those people exist. This particular guy seemed to be coming more from the Jesus angle. He drank the Kool-Aid one too many times when he was younger, and this is where he is now in life. That's what it seems.
You should be wearing sweatpants, Cortezes, and having purple lips.
God, dude. He should have an inverted cross in the shape of a guitar with Jesus on it while he play it.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I can see his point. I disagree with him. Like I say before, I like to play devil's advocate and look at both sides of everything, especially with these two fuckheads. But I mean, I get his point slightly. I'm not totally blowing him.
But these are the kids.
No,
these are the kids that have a father
that's
that's sheltering them, right? Like, these kids are sheltered. His kids are not going out into places and seeing a lot of different shit. Like, by the time they're 18 and they're ready to be
tell you something.
like adults, they're 16 mentally.
Can I tell you something? That man right there, that kind of concerned father, his little fucking slut of a daughter is going to be sucking dick at 16.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
You understand me?
Yeah, no question. Yo, listen.
You understand me? All that kind of suppressing and keeping indoors and they shouldn't see that on TV. Are the first people fucking
Brando
knobbing on
sports
dicks.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. More than balls, too. Don't limit yourself.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I guess you want to stay on
Dude,
the
I was the
topic of
pervert.
the kind of... You were the pervert?
I was a pervert. I found out about sex
we know
at
this.
such a young age. And I
Since
was
we're kind of in
listening
this
to Love
genre, this
Line.
topic area, Do you want to bring up the tweet that you saw online, Dan?
Yeah.
In the ballpark of what we're talking about here, of sex and
Yeah. So
lifestyle.
I
Again, if you want to give us a call, 844-997-0775, toll free, or give us a call local 442-244-9900. Hit us up in the chat, hashtag CP chat on Twitter. You'll find us there most of the time. Twitter is where it's at for most of us, and at CPPod100 on Twitter. So across all social media, actually, give us a follow, Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff, at CPPod100.
So I'm gonna find the tweet. But I read a tweet earlier today, and it's a transgendered person
Soon to be.
Yeah, just transitioning.
We should just say it's a confused individual, but go ahead.
He's so confused. He has no idea what he's doing.
All right, it says, freaking out, but trying to remain calm. Today I came out to my parents. Apparently being trans is a phase I am rushing into at 40. I'm an irresponsible person who can't be trusted to make decisions for myself at 40. A successful career, loving family, and good life. So, this person is upset.
Sorry. I'm not laughing. A little bit I am.
I'm confused.
I am. This person is upset that their family will not accept the fact that they want to be transgendered or transition at 40 years old. 40. And this brings up the whole conversation about, like, you know, Caitlyn Jenner, who was fucking Bruce and an Olympic medalist, right? And then wants to change his identity in his 60s. And then you expect people to just accept this? Like, if this whole thing is real, right? Like that, these conversations that I have with everybody about how, you know, transgender, like, you don't feel your, you feel mismatched at a young age, right? And you know that at a young age. 40? You know, so, and there's people in the comments like trying to support.
The question you're pointing to is why wait?
What happened?
The question that you're pointing to specifically is why wait?
Yes. If this is something you're supposed to feel.
How is this like? And yeah, like how is this not an attention grabbing,
a choice thing at this point, or an attention grabbing thing at this like something's not happening in your life that you feel like you have to finally come out about this. Like you knew you were going to face the same backlash
so
at
try
18.
Your hand at being a woman.
You were going to face the same backlash at 18, at 27, at 40, at 52 if you decided to change.
I don't think the backlash is the same at every age. I definitely think the older you are, the more set in your ways, and the people who know you, the more set in their ways they become. Like, people get stuck on things that they are used to. And when change comes, people hate it. It doesn't even have to be a big change. It can be a small change. People didn't like when iPhones started to change, you know, like, oh, I can't believe they did that. I'll never touch iPhone again. You know, you keep the 6 or bust, you know, all types of ridiculous bullshit. But at the end of the day, like, however you are is how you are. However long you wait to do something, I mean, it could be for a multitude of different reasons. If you are actually you know, you're going through the psychology of it, you know, you're actually going through the full transition. I have heard of quite a few cases where people have been told to just not do it because they were not psychologically ready. Their lives could not handle that sort of transition. Now, how long that lasts, I have no fucking idea. I'm no expert. I don't think that people who change later in life are any, I guess you could say, less optimal, whatever that actually would mean in this case, than people who do it at a younger age. Especially in a country where a change like that is hard to come by, especially a full change, because unlike in the United Kingdom, our government doesn't subsidize stuff like that.
Right.
Like our government's not going to pay for it. There are governments out there that will pay for your surgeries and all of that sort of stuff, though.
Giving a shout out real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
To the homie Mo. Baby Moy, shout out to you, big dog.
Like Demo?
And shout out to all your shit you're doing. No.
Oh, okay.
Other nigga I knew from Jersey.
Appreciate you.
So giving a shout out to you, homie. Appreciate you checking out the live stream today. I don't know, man. I don't feel. I think that's a really. I get what you're saying.
If you're 40 and you're making this choice in your life now, as I said a minute ago, this to me is an attention thing, because we had this conversation on a previous podcast. Like if this is a choice, or if this is something that you're born this way, that you know. Everyone wants to go with this argument that you're born this way, that you have the genes. You don't tap into them yet. You don't know how to access them yet. Whatever it is, you got to figure out your way in life before you realize it. Yada yada yada. But they're there. They're in your head. They're in your body. You're just figuring it out. I just don't think that 40 years old, and you said he's got a family, like the family life, like there's.
I think my biggest thing.
Well, this is where sometimes, Dan, you mentioned 40. Like mental. Like, is this a mental thing? Like, is there something bigger?
And that's my thing.
Bigger picture?
Well,
I think the thing that bothers me is the expectation. The expectation to be accepted is what bothers me. At 40 years old, you're making this decision, and you want people to just go along with it? It's a big change, yo. It's not like it's something.
Dan's right. No, Dan's right.
You know, like, you cannot expect people to just fall in line.
No, look, dude. That's why I said you're 40. There's two things. First, what Dan's saying, and then what Adam said. Dan's absolutely right. You're 40 years old, bro. You've been on this earth for 4 decades. Your kids have known you for that long. People around you no one's going to just fall into line with something that massively, overwhelmingly.
Like, that's crazy.
Right? Like, that's huge. You cannot expect people to just fall in line with that. I totally agree with that. So, but here's the thing, and I'll just leave it real simple. If people are going to care about you, they're going to care about you no matter how you are.
Period.
It doesn't make a difference
That's true.
whether or not they accept you. Fuck how if they accept you. They're going to rock with you or they're not. And if they're not, then you don't need them. You need to be as happy as you can with number one, you. And if they are not out there,
that's how I know Brando's got some East Coast mentality in him. You should have popped off in the East Coast, big dog.
If they ain't got no love for you, then you definitely shouldn't be standing around trying to hold out a hand for them. Hang on. I just want to finish on this last thing that Adam said.
Yeah.
Adam said the whole thing about attention and that sort of thing and having a family. Here's the thing. That's why that would be a good reason I think a psychologist might tell someone to wait. If you know something's wrong with you and you've gone and done the research and you've gone and done the appointments and stuff, and there's a good suspicion and all things are pointing to you having some sort of inside that doesn't match your outside, you could be in your 20s, 25, 26 or whatever. You might have already started a family. Whether you know something or not does not preclude you from living a life. You might be going on with your life, living, having a family, doing whatever the fuck it is that you do, always knowing that this is the case. If it gets confirmed later, and your kids are in school, elementary school, you're a father.
You can't confirm that shit later.
Sure you can. But either way, if you have kids and all this other sort of thing,
then I don't want to hear.
I don't think.
Nah. Then something as drastic as
I
don't want to hear that you're born with the shit. I don't want to hear that you're born with the shit. I want you to tell me that it's a choice.
I don't think people should be getting upset because people do it later simply because they are doing it later. Like, they could do it later for lots of reasons, and kids having children is a very good reason to do it later. That's all I'm trying to say. What'd you say about a choice?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's.
I'm saying that I feel like
At 40
it's
years old,
more of
though,
a choice when it's older. At 40
it's
years old,
definitely.
you already
there's
have a
definitely
family.
choice being made.
Like, look,
the choice is the
Look.
choice is in going to get the procedure done. The choice is not having the mismatched positions on the inside. Of
yes,
the outside.
but you
So I agree
carry
that
this
there is a
life knowing
choice.
that
Yes,
kind
there
of
is a choice.
that
But
kind
the choice
of
isn't
like.
what people perceive it to be.
But it's such a deep choice for a family. Like, it's so drastic.
Exactly. Which
Like,
is why
that's
you
why
make
I
it- which
respect
is
a
why you
little more
can't-
of the people that say, oh, yeah, I felt this at 12. I felt this at 15. I felt this at 18. They can say that and proceed with their life. You know what I'm saying? With knowing that and doing the right,
Yeah, but saying that
doing
I
the right
felt
thing,
this
'cause this
at
is-
12, I felt this at 15. A lot of these people are saying that they felt something. They're talking in hindsight, talking about they felt something at that age and was not aware of what it was until a lot later in life. And again, even if all of the signs point in one direction, this is the United States. Going into transition takes time and money that most people don't have. Doesn't make a
And
difference
look,
what you know.
Call me an
You might not
asshole,
have the
whatever you
time
want to
and money
say.
to do it up until you're 40. Sorry.
Call me an asshole, whatever you want to say. But, like, if you're doing this at 40 plus, 50, 60, fucking Bruce Jenner, it's selfish. Especially when you have a family already. Like,
Bro,
with
that's what I'm
Bruce
trying to
Jenner-
say, Adam.
with Bruce Jenner, like, his family dealt with it. But look, $1 billion
There's a reason
fucking
they dealt with
dollars
it,
sure
though.
makes that transition a lot fucking easier to deal with. Whereas
Well, of course it does.
if you just got little Jimmy and little Sally who still have to work their way through public school, with one pair of shoes that needs to
get
last
picked
them 2
on.
years. There's
Because-
ramifications to go down the line here that are gonna
Yeah, come
last
on,
for
son.
a long fucking time, man. Like,
Some
It's-
psychological
there's just
ass shit. You're
more
fucking with your
here.
kids, bruh.
and
Yeah,
if
but-
this is legit, if this is real, and this is really how this person feels, then that's fine. I don't want to be that person that thinks people are gonna think that I'm gender bashing and transgender bashing. I don't fucking care. But you got to think about this here. Like, you got to truly think.
I leave
and,
that
and
for
know that
personal
this
phone
is-
calls.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
But
I have no problem with bashing people when it's appropriate or when it's necessary or when they've obviously stepped into some bullshit. And don't get me wrong, the trans community steps into some bullshit quite often these days, and they're going.
well,
to.
they put
They're trying to
themselves
find
in
their
it
place.
sometimes, don't they?
They're trying to find their place in the world. Of course they do.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
but it's a new community. They're trying to find their place in the world. Now, so again, I don't mind bashing people when it's necessary. The only thing is this though. There are times to transition. There are times not to. I definitely would not be transitioning if I have children that are small and count on me. I wouldn't be going through transition pretty much if I have a baby up to about an 18, 19, 20-year-old.
So you think if
I
this
do-
guy's in his
if I
40s and
do-
let's say he's got 1 or 2 kids, there may be.
How old are his kids? It depends. How old are his kids?
That's what I'm saying. We don't know. That's what I'm saying. But if we just ballpark it and maybe he had kids early on and he's 40, his kids are maybe late stages of high school, like, that matters versus 5 and
Yes.
6-year-olds. Obviously it does.
Yeah, absolutely that matters. Fucking right, that matters.
I mean, it's still got to have ramifications though, right? Like, especially as a teenager.
Absolutely, it's gonna have.
I mean, what if they're
ramifications.
right in the heart of high school, freshman, sophomore year? Now you got a couple years that
Then you probably
you're that kid
shouldn't be.
that your
then I don't
dad is
think- I thi-
becoming a chick and gonna get his balls
No.
chopped off.
The time that you want to do that is when your kids reach the age of majority and they can take care of themselves. That's why I said you kids do not have to depend on you. Freshman year of high school is not 18, 19 years old.
Okay, so
18
you're
is
saying
where-
well
not where I'm
after.
from. I'm
Where
saying
after-
when
well after
they
you
are
hit that
able to take
18
care of
plus.
themselves, yeah, when they are no longer your legal responsibility, then you can go out and live on your own. But that's part of the reason and genius with people just not having children. you know. But if you do have children, if you start a life, whatever you really are on the inside, you better have figured that out before you start that life. Because
I
as soon
think
as you
you're an
have
asshole
kids, those kids
if
are
you
gonna
do it
come
when your
first,
kids are young.
assuming you're the right parent.
Agree.
If you are a parent, if you
You're
are
an
a parent,
asshole if you do it when the kids are young.
and a good parent, your kids are always going to come first. So that's just what it is.
Hit us up, 844-997-0775 if you want to comment on anything we talked about. Transgender people, the Christian dude wanting to talk about Jennifer Lopez and Shakira's halftime show at the Super Bowl. Anything that you have to say. I wanted to play this clip too because, Brando, you had just mentioned something, and this has nothing to do with what we were just talking about, but you said something.
No, we're transitioning, baby.
I can't remember what you said, but it made me think of this clip. Oh,
Thank you, bro.
I got it. Sorry. It's Sunday.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna have to smoke some weed on that one.
A little slow.
I might have to lift the bowl up on that because that shit.
The brain is a
was
little
on the money,
waterlogged.
nigga.
I picked that up though. I got that.
He said, "I've got a wet brain." Got a wet brain.
Cheers, everybody. For all my smokers, and we never really do this on the stream. I always try to keep the smoke off.
Yellow.
Yeah, but this is a clip that I came across and made me have to question either our educational system or maybe people just need to lay off the drugs every now and then.
Droga, coño.
So this is obviously somebody that's dealing with some flooding, and let's listen to see what she has to say about the flooding that's going on in her.
I want to hear from you first. What is going on, and how is this impacting you? Has water gotten into your apartment or anything yet?
Well, not yet because it's not that bad, but over here on this side it kind of is, and I guess in the far back it is. That's why the cars is up here and stuff. But it haven't really hit our parking lot yet, so it's really ain't affecting me yet. But once it do hit that, they probably gonna tell us to evaporate, and then that's what gets on my nerves all the time.
What?
Whoa.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
We gotta keep evaporating.
Yeah. And I know we're right by Bowling Creek, and you said that this happens a lot, that you all have flooding here?
Yes. When I first moved here, I think the first time I moved here, it was like this. So we had to, evaporate. And it had, boats and stuff out here because the whole thing was, flooded.
Y'all ever had to evaporate? Y'all ever had to evaporate?
Gee. We had to.
Holy
That's
fuck.
the educational system at its finest, people.
Stay
I don't
in
think that had to do with
school.
the educational system at all, bro. That was her parents. Holy shit. Your mom never told you?
I hate when they make
Shit.
it evaporate. I've never, I had to evaporate a couple times when I was in Little Rock.
You had to evaporate. Oh my god.
They came over the horns and the loudspeakers and told us we had to evaporate.
Nah, she probably thinks the word eradicate is the same thing too.
Eradicate. She thought that's like a rat eating. Ah, look at that eradicate over there.
Oh, hell no.
Wasn't that Pokemon?
Now we gotta
him
find
on that
words. Now we gotta find words and see what hood niggas would think it was.
Oh my god, that'll be in the future show. In the future show.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was trying to think of some words real quick.
I mean, there's probably.
Oh my
this
god, that's so
out there.
good. Well, I don't know,
that was
man.
just-
That scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a certain taste in women.
Where are you going with this one? Where are you going with this one?
No, that's all. That's all. I just wanted
Where
to
are
leave
you
it there.
going
I
with
was
this
leaving it there. I was leaving it there.
Spicy. Spicy milk bread.
Like, yeah, what you tasting women?
Yeah,
That's
that's why.
how women talk has nothing to do with why I'm fucking them. I'll tell you that much. Because if you're a good woman,
Oh, I'm not fucking you if you sound like
if you're a
that.
good
You can
woman,
hose
if you're a
down
good
a
woman
piece
to
of
me,
freaking
not fucking you
drywall
if
and
you
you'll stick your dick in it.
I'm
You'll
telling
hit
you,
that? Brando, you'll hit
will
that.
if you just shut your mouth, you're a good woman. If you're talking,
You have
to me,
no
you should
pride in
know.
your penis.
Yeah, I just
You'll
shut,
just
again,
bang anything.
I'll
He
fuck
has no
women
respect
that
for his penis.
have clean STD results and make the sheets look like a lake afterward.
Now,
Those are the requirements.
Listen to me.
does.
How is that
Those are the
guaranteed?
requirements. It's not, which is exactly why you have to try it. And then if it's not, you go on to that.
So that's why you don't have any pride in your penis. You want to test out to see how many women can flow like rivers.
It depends on what you mean by pride in your penis.
Meaning, you'll bang anything.
He has no respect for his penis.
You don't. You don't look.
So
you
like.
don't-
So like, what
don't
do you mean by
carefully decide
what do you
on
mean by anything? 'Cause
who
if I
you
were
put
to
your
take
penis in?
if
You
I were
just
to
was
take-
like.
if I were to
You
take
don't carefully decide. You
hyper-literally-
just look at it.
if
You
I
just
were
look
to
at a
take
woman
you
and go, "Oh, I
hyper-literally,
want to fit."
I would be like, I mean, I wouldn't bang you, so no, I definitely wouldn't be banging anything. So like if I were to just take you hyper literally, like we could just knock a few million people off the board.
We can play that. We can play that game, but you'll fuck any woman.
No, of course not.
Any woman.
That doesn't make. No, of course not. But you should know that. Are you being hyper literal for a reason? Like, what do you mean?
I'm saying that
I'll put it this way: I wouldn't
You're
fuck a
not
woman
ca-
that's out of
you're
shape.
not ca-
I'll put it this way: I wouldn't fuck a woman that's out of shape.
it's like I said. You're not carefully
Give it a
deciding.
shot.
Give it. He's stupid as hell. He said, "Give that shit a whirl."
Give it a shot.
Wobble, wobble, shake it, wobble, wobble.
Or let me rephrase. That was a bit harsh, actually. That was a bit harsh. I won't fuck women who are unhealthy. I can fuck women who are. You can be out of shape. You can be out of shape and healthy at the same time. I'm not gonna fuck women who are unhealthy.
This head is too much, B.
That's what I will say. I will not fuck women who are unhealthy. But what do you mean? But what do you mean? But what do you
Like
mean?
you-
I want to hash this out.
Lack of education. They can
That's
sound
not
like
Mr.
that.
Brando.
Like
That's
you
not
you
Mr.
would bang a girl like that. Cause I wouldn't.
yeah,
that
yeah.
just automatically turns me off. I cannot hear a girl talk
Yeah,
like
that-
that, and be
I know
like, and
that-
not
I
make
know-
fun of her.
I
would roast her the whole
I'll
time.
I'll make fun of everybody. I don't care what type of education you have. You don't have to have good education for me to make fun of you.
No, you gotta have a good education. Now that
right,
gives me something to
exactly.
work with.
But the whole concept of you and anyone else saying that they wouldn't fuck someone with without an education, especially a formal American education, is just bullshit. Like you've said on podcasts before,
I'm not banging something that sounds like that, boy.
No, yeah, you wouldn't
I'm telling you.
want to fuck someone that sounds like that. But that a person that sounds like that and a person who has no education are not synonymous. Like those are not.
Facts they are.
synonyms at all.
Are you
they're
telling
absolutely
me
not.
that's not education?
I'm telling you that there are people
That's
with no
not-
education. I'm telling you there are people with no education at all who have better diction, better English, and better choice of grammar than she does. Millions of them. Like you don't. Like you
She's
don't,
using
like you
the
don't-
wrong
like
word.
Like
She
you don't
said
need.
evaporate, bro.
You don't need education to know
She
that
said we
evaporate. Is a
That's
term
education.
For water.
That's education.
That is not education.
That's lack of
That is just-
education.
that is bad parenting. It is definitely bad education. Maybe lack of it thereof. We could pick.
She
all
wanted
you
to
want.
sound like
But
she
what
knew
I'm
a big
saying is
word and she
that
just
there are
threw it in
tons
there.
of people without education who talk a lot better than she does. So I don't want to blame teachers.
Please find me them
for her.
She is probably really fucking good at math though. She's got the tenths, grams, quarters, halves. She got that shit down solid. Like
I know.
She knows that dope game math like nobody's.
I'm sure she does.
She got them halves, quarters.
I guarantee it. We see her in a strip club or in a porn when she's 21. Get out of here. Stop. She
wait. Strip
is not going anywhere with that kind of.
What's wrong with being a stripper or being a sex worker? Like what?
She said the fire alarm goes off. She's in the strip club and she's like, "Everybody evaporate!
Charlemagne says,
Hurry, evaporate!"
Bro, like anyone who says the word evaporate when they have to do with people are like someone who's like seen a lot of Vietnam movies or some shit. Like they've seen bombs fall over. That's when a person evaporates.
I don't think she knows that, bro. I don't think she watches anything but twerk videos on fucking. She wants to learn how to twerk. That's what she sounds like.
She sounds like she's seen it. I don't think she sounds like she's seen a few shootings.
Glass dick.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. She's seen enough crack evaporate that I think
she's watching that
makes all the
difference in her lungs.
And you can have the best education in the world. Crack is really gonna kill off all that
education.
Crack is whack, people. Crack is whack. As soon as you get out of school.
Look, man. I don't know about that one, but listen.
I just heard it.
Okay, first of all, you said what's wrong with being a stripper? You as a father, so Charlemagne always said something like, you know, my job as a father is to keep my daughter out of the strip club and out of reality TV. Whatever else she decides to do with her life,
yeah, that's
her
emotional.
choice.
That's emotional fathering, and also flawed thinking.
So if that's a path, and this is no disrespect to you, if that's a path that you would be supportive.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm supportive of. I'm supportive of my daughter being happy and safe. Those are the two qualifications, and the only two qualifications. Any person who's going around and parading around as if they know what's best or what's, going to be better for my kid when I'm not living her life for her is a person engaging in bullshit and just, like I said before, flawed thinking. I know people who are nurses, people who are scientists, who went and stripped and did nothing else but strip, dancing on a pole, made money, paid their way through college, or at least helped them pay their way through college, and that was the beginning and end of it. Being a stripper is not equated to being a horrible person.
So I'm agreeing with you. I'm not against strippers or stripping at all. But I'm playing devil's advocate in the sense.
I would think though.
No. But I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Is bad choices.
And I'm going to take that point and I'm going to destroy it because it's bullshit. What my daughter needs to be.
But I'm
safe
saying this
and happy.
Hold on. I'm saying this. Knowing with the way that the world over-sexualizes women, there is a little bit of uncomfortability there, knowing that my daughter is deciding to put herself in a situation where she is appeared as an object, right? And these situations where you don't know where the world is going, man. Like,
yeah, this is the same this is the same concept as the Christian who had a problem with his kids seeing Jennifer Lopez and Shakira dancing. I feel uncomfortable with my daughter walking out of the door.
Seeing it and being a part of it is a little different for me. Hang on. Like physically being a part of it is different.
You were talking about having a problem with her doing this, that, and the other. I have a problem with her walking out of the door to go to school. I have a problem with her being in school without me. I have a problem with her being on a different continent than I am. But here's the thing. All of these things are inevitabilities that are part of living an independent, healthy life. So all of the things that I'm uncomfortable
I don't think
with,
it's healthy
I
for you to have
learn.
a problem with your daughter being at school without you. That's not right.
Well, no.
Like, what do you mean by that, real quick?
Oh, so
Like, you just want to be.
He's
by her
saying like
side?
in
What I mean-
safety. He's being in safety.
I'm talking about to Dan's point, talking about you don't know what's going to happen out in the world. The world's unsafe. People view women as sex objects, hypersexuality of
I'm
women.
following you. I'm following
You know, And here's the thing. Women, you were talking about women being viewed as sex objects. Strip clubs are places where people go for the express purpose of viewing women as sex objects. But if a person views a woman as a sex object, they're going to view a woman as a sex object at a strip club, at a church, anywhere else. Dicks meet up, pussies open up, and things happen.
Oh my goodness.
The way to arm your children against bad things in this world is education. And now I'm being philosophical in the sense that not only should they be getting academic education from the school, they should be getting life education from you. Right? You should be involved in your kid's life. And if you're not involved in your kid's life and you're not telling your kids,
it should be way more than school. School is just there to teach them about their history, their math, their grammar, all that kind of shit.
That's my point entirely, and that's why I'm not afraid of all the things everyone else is telling me. I'm not worried about shit, dude. The only thing I can do is the best that I've got. I can put every drop of blood, sweat, piss, and tears that I've got into this kid to be an upstanding, wonderful, educated, smart, engaging member of society. What she does from there on out is not my choice. I can always be there for her. I cannot run her life for her.
So you don't fear that any choices that she makes is a reflection off of what you have provided to her?
I feel like every decision she makes is a reflection off of what I've provided for her.
And what if it's something you don't agree with?
If it's something I don't agree with, then we just don't agree. Nothing we can do about it.
But
right?
isn't that off of? So she's diverting off of the reflection you've given her, correct?
If she diverts off of the path that I've said, or any of several paths that I've said are good, or even better than some others, we can talk about it if she wants to talk about it. We can have that discussion.
So that's her choice ultimately.
Why it's flawed, but ultimately, as an adult, who I can no longer give orders to and expect her to follow them. It's her choice. But I think it's a testament to the way that my daughter was raised that I've never had to hit her once. I've never had to hit her. I very rarely have to ever raise my voice. Amazing grades, engaging on all cylinders, athletics, academia,
Jesus,
everything else.
cock, smart daughter.
Just,
this guy's got
dude, listen.
All.
When it comes to her, that's my pride and joy, bro. Like I cannot convey that to you enough. She's the best, and all of these things. I was supposed to see all these things with my kid and all of this other shit. Like, it hasn't been easy, but it's definitely not the horror show that everyone is afraid of.
Yeah. And I think you're right. That definitely probably stands for what you and your baby mom have done. Is if you can properly parent together in a way that your child makes the right decisions. Now, the one little loophole in this though is that I've known plenty of people and seen plenty of people that were great kids all the way through high school, straight A students. And they hit that 18, 19, 20 years old and shit hits the fan. So it's like, there's got to be that balance to keep that level-headedness about your children.
I don't necessarily think there's a problem with shit hitting the fan, as long as the shit that hits the fan is some shit that they can control. When I turned 19, 20, 21, 22, shit arguably hit the fan. They let me free of American borders, and I lost my fucking mind. I lost money, blew money, spent money, got lost, got in trouble, got out of trouble. But at the same time, that's what growing up is. Like, I could not be where I am today or who I am today if I had not gone through all of that crazy ass shit, which you so eloquently described as shit hitting the fan. That's adulthood.
Yeah. Let's keep this moving. I want to talk about this because we're
Yes,
kind of
sir.
talking about children, talking about school now. We're talking about parenting.
844-997-0775. Give us a call. Hashtag CP Chat on Twitter. And also, CP Pod 100 across all platforms. And if you want to call locally in America, the beautiful country of America. That's what I say on the radio on an age 90 station.
America.
You can give us a call in America at 442-244-9900. Go ahead, bro.
So this is a story about a little girl with Down syndrome.
Oh, this shit pissed me off.
Let's take a look at this story.
It was very clear from the beginning that she didn't understand what she was saying.
An empty threat or something more sinister? Some parents are outraged after a school
Turn it down
calls
a little bit, brother.
police on their 6-year-old daughter. This is Eyewitness News at 6, now streaming on CBSN Philly. Good evening, everyone. I'm Yuki Washington.
And I'm Jessica Cartalia. We are hearing exclusively tonight from the mother of that 6-year-old.
She says the Tredyffrin Easttown School District mishandled an incident involving her daughter who has Down syndrome.
Eyewitness News reporter Joe Holden is at the police department with the story tonight. Joe?
Good evening. Maggie Gaines says she's had a positive experience in this community. That is until one day in November involving her daughter and an incident at school.
She's just a really amazing and wonderful, happy kid.
Margot is energetic. She loves soccer, basketball, and playing cops and robbers with her brother. She's also now tied to a police report.
Again, I was very upset about this.
How old is your daughter?
She's 6 years old.
And your daughter has?
My daughter has Down syndrome, too. Yeah, so she's a special ed student.
Maggie Gaines acknowledges Margot in November made a shooting gesture at her Valley Forge Elementary kindergarten teacher and said she'd shoot her. The so-called threat was assessed by school officials and deemed to be nothing. But Gaines says the district argued the police would still be called.
There's no need for the police to have a record of something that is just sort of a minor.
I fucking hate this reporter
not
so
even a
much.
Disciplinary issue, right? I mean, there was no discipline action taken. It was, a sort of naughty word to say, or it was, something that was a teachable moment that the school should just be handling. It's not something that the police need to document.
Sources tell CBS 3 Margot has no record, but her name is part of an official report. The Gaines are now appealing to the Board of Education to amend its policies to draw on more common.
Okay. So this is America, people. Like, this is what we've come to with this. This is where we are with our gun sensitivity, our overreaction to everything. Like, a 6-year-old child with Down syndrome, with not a full normal 6-year-old mental capacity, most likely, does the little handgun, sure, probably, like she said, the mom said, teachable moment. And you go call the fucking cops? You're gonna call the cops on a 6-year-old?
Dude, they're not being a fucking school.
Fuck out of here. Like,
they're not being a fucking school. This really pissed me off because I have a buddy who just got a call for his son who's 6 years old. He lifted his hand he was in line and he lifted his hand to scratch his head and he accidentally hit another kid on their ass. And
yeah, this is definitely a thing too.
And the kid went to go tell as if like he did it on purpose. And they called my boy and they're like telling him like, yeah, your son. And they acknowledged that it was a mistake. He said it was a mistake. They acknowledged it. So then why the fucking phone call? Call about something real. Call if there's a fucking emergency. You're like, I leave you with my kid for 8 hours because you're supposed to fucking do this shit. You're supposed to fucking take care of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think both of these situations, like in your boy's situation, I think it's just so weird that in today's society, today's age, like you have to call the parent about anything, because if the child were to come home and say, "Dad, I got in trouble because they accused me of smacking another kid's ass," now as a parent, you have I guess you have a right, or you have, I mean, I'm assuming you do have the right, but you have a reason to go after the school, or, oh, you're accusing my kid of this, you're accusing my kid of that, you're, being judgmental, blah, blah, blah. So I guess the school just covers their ass by calling and saying, this is what we had to deal with today. It's nothing.
Sure, I get that the schools have to cover their ass more than anything.
Yeah.
I get it. But it's like, dude, we went to school at a time where, like, it wasn't an emergency. It had to be dire in order for us to go home.
Agreed.
Unless we'd skipped and got out of school. But for our parents to come and get us, or for us to be excused out of school, or for it to get in trouble, hey, you make a phone call, just put them in ISS. They're going to tell me about it anyway.
You pulled that ISS out super quick. You heard those letters a couple times, didn't you? You knew that shit was so quick.
I never got in trouble. I was a good kid. I actually got in trouble one time for, of course, my mouth. But it wasn't just me, but I was picking, we were all fucking always roasting this kid. And he always laughed it off. So we always thought he was okay with it. You know what I'm saying? And then, out of nowhere.
Guess not. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
one day we were just called into the office early.
Especially with this Down syndrome chick, the Down syndrome girl. Like, I know teachers don't get paid a lot of money today. They don't. I get that. But also, they want to be the first to say to go strike and walk out of school because they want more money and they need more money and they need this. But there's a lot of teachers that do the bare fucking minimum these days. Like, some of the teachers today, like, what are you doing? Because just like the mother said in this situation, this is a teachable moment. Why aren't you teaching the child the right and wrong of this? It takes unique individuals to work with special ed children. This is your job. You went through some extra training. You went through some extra certification to work with special needs children. Like, why aren't you taking this situation and putting your training and your certification to use and teaching this child about, this is not okay, this is not acceptable, you don't do this, you don't do that. Like,
bro, it's because the world is so I know exactly what it is. The world is so timid right now to fuck with anybody's kids because of how crazy parents are. Because dealing with the parents are always the worst in any situation. Like, I always hear that from nurses. Nurses go, the patients are the best. The parents are the worst. And it's the same thing with teachers.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, like...
Because if she were to get too aggressive with the child or do something, then the parent comes
go
back,
home,
right?
And then now there's a problem. Yeah. He's gonna go home, say something to his mom, and now there's a problem. Now they're showing up to the school raising hell or whatever if she talked to them a certain way. Now, if she gets the cops involved, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look as bad because people can sympathize with the fact. There are some people who are going to look at that news report and go, well, I get it. You know, it's a sensitive time, mass shootings and all this stuff. I get it. You know, you have to take precaution. You know, what if that little girl's parents do own guns and that's all she's seen around her? We don't know her lifestyle at home, right? People are interpreted that way. They are. There are going to be some people. Of course. And so, man, the world has gotten so sensitive. God, you know, I remember kids used to do handguns all the time. Nothing happened.
When the what? Say that again.
They used to do handguns all the time. Nothing happened.
Oh yeah. I was just seeing this the other day too. Like, man, it's just so crazy. Like in the 90s, I'm in elementary school, middle school, all this kind of stuff, because I'm a fucking dinosaur. Yeah. We would get like cap guns, and for you fucking sensitive little snowflakes, cap guns were guns that you could buy at the fucking grocery store. And they looked like real fucking guns, except they had a little bright orange tip on them. And they'd make popping sounds. They looked like a little firecracker, a little popping sound. We would buy these and take them to school and show off with them. Play with them on the playground. Like, it wasn't always, like, accepted, but it was like, it wasn't a big deal. We didn't get suspended for it. We didn't get the police called on us for it. They'd just be like, no, you can't do that. You gotta... don't bring this to school again. Okay, cool. No big deal. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, we were running around the streets playing cops and robbers and, shooting each other with shit all the time. It's like,
just popping
there's
each other.
got to be a common sense. There's got to be a training. There's got to be education about stuff. There's got to be things that have to fall back on the parents
there's that word again.
to teach your children.
There's that word again.
What word? Education? Is that bothering you?
Education. Listen, my job is education. Nothing about education ever bothers me.
You teach people kung fu.
That's education.
Kung fu?
I just wanted to see if that word would trigger him.
That's education.
Nah. Look, man, I don't know. Like, this is a teachable moment, but teachers are trying to take all precaution right now because parents are fucking nuts. Kids are nuts. It's like something's in the water, B. Because I even remember, I've talked to a lot of like retired cops. And the thing I get from like retired cops is, yeah, dude, they all tell me the same thing without being prompted. They go, I would not want to be on the force today. And that's a big thing, dude. It's a different time.
It's just different times.
Shit is more ramped up.
That's very different.
Ramped up, bro.
At no point at all should we be ready to send in SWAT teams because 6-year-olds are making hand signs or bringing things to,
Yes, dude.
There's a time and place for law enforcement. And there's also a time and place for teachers to actually handle it themselves. And I think the teachers don't know what that time is yet. I think, like, I kind of talked about this before. I think we're going to see a lot more of these. I think, funny enough, we did this on another live stream where something similar happened.
We did. I think it was school security.
It was the
from my recollection,
tough on that girl who was
on the girl,
delayed, mentally delayed.
Yeah, from my recollection, it was in Arizona, and that's my whole thing, dude. Like, I am.
We don't use those words on this show. Delayed. Come on.
I think there's going to be a lot more of these sorts of incidents in the news. But I'll put it this way. I'll take this over an actual school shooting any day. So
I agree.
Fuck it.
I mean, there's no argument to that at all. There's no argument.
Be skittish. Be skittish if you want. But have some balls at some point.
I talk with my lady about this from time to time when we have to hear the shit in the news. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No. I just wanted to say, I just feel really bad for this little girl, though, who doesn't understand that her name is kind of like, she has a record.
Tarnished, yeah.
She has a fucking record for doing something that she now...
Well, I guess they said she doesn't necessarily have a record, but it is like on file or whatever.
But it's documented, man. Documented. That's having a record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but me and my lady were talking about this. We've talked about this a few different times. And I think we've talked about it too in different, when we've sat down to record some stuff. But the number of just incidences that take place regularly today in 2020 versus 1990, it's just such a weird that this is where we've come in 30 years. That, I mean, we see this stuff, and maybe it's media, maybe it's the internet, maybe it's whatever, that this stuff has always been taking place.
I think
just
it's
never was brought
computers,
to
bro.
our attention. Because, like, there was the shit that just happened in Thailand where, like, 20 people were killed. There was a shooting, I think, like, in a New York precinct just recently with people killed. There was there's just something every day of someone walking into a building with a gun and lighting the place up and just taking people out left and right. Like, that just, again, maybe it just wasn't brought to our attention. It wasn't put in front of us in the 90s. But today, it's just every day, man. Every day you turn around, you flip the news on. Killing, shooting, killing.
Well, I think also,
it's like, Jesus.
We technology and having access to social media brought us access to news from places that are not around us, right?
Yeah, for sure.
In order for these websites to get clicks, a website from, a news affiliate from Philly might share a story from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Out of Chicago or out of Florida. And they're just trying to increase their clicks so that they can continue to make money, right?
Yeah.
So we have access to so many stories. I think all this stuff was happening, but it was just regional. We were seeing our news and going, okay, we see one shooting, two shootings. I guess that's not too bad, like in the surrounding areas. But when we're constantly on our social media feeds and we're seeing shooting in Chicago, shooting in Detroit, shooting in fucking here over here, it's like holy shit, this really is fucking happening today. But it was happening all the time. We just get regional news now. We just get access to news from everywhere.
I don't know if it was a live show or if it was on a podcast, but I actually pointed this out to you, and I think, Adam, you took a look at the numbers. Right now, as bad as Chicago is, it's not as bad as it ever was. Chicago's actually worse in the 70s. Through the 90s, it was pretty bad. Obviously, the 80s were pretty fucked up. But it started to get better in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, and it's gotten better. And it's gotten worse too. Not as worse as worse could be, but it's gotten good and it's gotten bad. It's gotten good and it's gotten bad. But it's never been as bad as it has been between 1970 and 1998. Between those years, that's when Chicago's been the worst. After that, it did taper off significantly. And a lot of it was gentrification. A lot of it was neighborhood shuffling. Building up new schools and new laws that forced people to do certain things when it came to, there's that word again, education. All of that helped a lot, but it's still fucking jumping out in Chicago.
Yeah, well, it's like, I think it was like a week ago, I was watching the news, and they were talking that we were up to like 67 shootings already in Portland. And at that point, I think it was Super Bowl Sunday. It was like that morning. So we're not even like 35 days into the year. And we were at like 67 shootings already. Like almost double,
nigga, that's
the
weekend
number of days in the year already. Like that's crazy. Like 2 a day. You're averaging 2 shootings a day. That's just the ones that are documented.
That is a weekend for us, man.
No, right. I mean, but yeah, that's Chicago versus Portland, Oregon. I get that. I mean, Chicago is definitely known for it.
But yeah, I will say that.
You know what's so sad? You know what's so sad? You said that number, and I literally did not cringe. I was like, oh, sounds
about right. You're just like, yep, sounds right.
Huh.
Just another day.
It did not shake me up. It's so numbing because we live in an ocean of guns. We swim. I understand that anywhere I go, unfortunately, this is how I have to think, but I always say set up for the worst and always be aware of the worst so that when the good comes, you can really appreciate it. Right?
Yeah.
And I understand.
I think that's the way a lot of people live.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, I've also been called negative many of times for living that way because it's like, oh, well, you're going to go into everything negative. No, I'm just aware of the worst and what I need to do if the worst does happen, right?
Right.
But I understand that anywhere I go can be lit up. It's just what it is.
Facts.
This is the country we live in.
Let's think about wrapping this show up, but let's end this on a funnier note. I got one last audio clip here, one last clip. Tell me if you guys think, and we've kind of touched on this before too when we were talking a little bit about, banging chicks, maybe strippers, stuff like that. You think this guy's got anything in his phone that he might need to be hiding? This is a dude whose lady took his phone, and he's not too happy about it.
Why you got my phone, boo? Give me my phone, man. Give me my phone. Why you got my phone, man? Ain't nothing in my phone. Why you going through my phone? Give me my phone.
I love it. She keeps pulling forward. He's like, you're not gonna get this.
Give me my phone. Give me my phone. Hey, you recording, bro? Give me my phone, man. Why you got my phone?
You got people, you got the neighbors laughing. And there she goes. Like, homie has some stuff in his phone that he was not wanting his lady to see. There was
She already
definitely
saw
some
it.
pictures of
Here's
some
the
tits
thing.
in there.
Let me tell you about this woman. She already knew about it.
That's why she took the phone,
She already
right?
knew about it. That's
She
why
just
she
wanted
took
that
home
confirmation?
and she was taunting that nigga. That's all it was. She was just taunting him. Women, once they get a hold of your phone, they have a hold of your phone because they know something's up.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, they knew with this
Unless
guy.
she's going through your
She
phone.
knew.
And I don't let any bitch go through my phone, and I don't go through any bitch phone.
Oh, I don't got nothing
Ever.
to hide. I'm old though. So.
I don't have anything to hide, yeah. If you want to look at my phone, take a look at it. But I've never felt the need to go through any fucking female's phone.
But that's the thing.
Like, I don't know
That's my
why I'd
thing.
be going
That's
through
what I'm
her
saying.
phone. Like,
I'm not
there's no
against-
reason to do that.
I'm not against her grabbing my phone and doing what she needs to do, but I'm not grabbing her phone. I'm not trying to check up what's up. You can do whatever you need to do.
Does that mean
That
you
whole
just
phone
put full
shit,
trust
though.
in your lady? Like, are you 100%? If you're in the relationship, you're 100% all in, and you're putting full trust, or why? Why not?
Dude,
take a
I've
look?
been in
You're
situations,
asking
and
me-
I've done
Sure.
things where I have jumped up and been secretive about my phone, and that's part of because of my baby mama. Because my baby mama would actually go to my phone and pick out shit that really wasn't anything. Like, it really wasn't. It was very innocent and it was platonic. And she would make a big deal about it. So the phone.
Like, she'd be like, "Who the fuck is Stephanie?" That's my little cousin. What the fuck you talking about? Like,
Yeah, dog.
I'm not doing shit with my little
like-
cousin, you idiot.
Hey, but
Yeah,
real
dude.
shit,
And
I'm not really gonna be one of these people who, like, the reason I'm not gonna be looking at her phone, the reason why I'm not interested is, I guess it's partially what you said. Like, when if I don't trust you, I'm just not gonna be in a relationship with you. I don't want to
Exactly,
be in
that's it.
that relationship where I need to be going
That's it.
through your phone. That is not the relationship for me. But I
So
will
then-
also say
so
that
then-
going through her phone is also just a time-consuming thing. If I really want to do that, I'll just hire someone to do it.
Can I tell you something? So then, my attitude of no bitch is going through my phone should literally be the same attitude as you have the other way, as you have the other way around, in which you expect that trust from her as well for you. That's where my attitude for that is coming from.
Like, yeah, I mean, like if she trusts me, awesome. If she wants to see my phone and she doesn't trust me, and that, like, if we don't trust each other equally, I guess I'm cool with that. But there are some signs where I would be like, yo, there's some serious warning flags here that are making me, But looking at my phone is the least of my fucking concerns.
But I was. It was that, like, being made shit out of stuff, and I just think that, like, same thing. If I really feel like you're doing some fuckery, I'm bouncing, dog. I don't have time for it.
I don't got time to deal with that shit. I'm too old for that shit now. Like, that's some shit you do as like 16, 18-year-old kid.
I've got too many options, bro. Like, honestly, I'm not about to.
This fucking guy.
Any chick I get with is a fortunate fucking
horse cock. I got a smart daughter. I got women.
Fortunate person.
This fucking
You better be fucking happy that I'm fucking with you.
This
You better
fucking
be
delayed
honored that I'm
motherfucker.
taking time.
You're
in you. All right, if I'm putting dick in you,
You're the reason why white people kill
chosen.
themselves.
You are chosen.
All right.
Yeah.
You're the
Bro, I'm
reason
the
why
reason
they
white
put
people I'm the reason white people
loud
have more
rock
children.
music on.
I've got more illegitimate and legitimate white children than y'all motherfuckers get SSI checks in a year.
Jesus Christ! All right, don't give that up. They're gonna ask for child support. How white women are.
I got money. I see my money. I got money.
You gotta
Money isn't a
fucking spend
problem.
thousands of dollars to fly
I do not mind paying child
to
support.
countries to see your daughter.
I am that cat.
Please
I do not
don't
mind.
add any more financial stress onto your life.
I can
He said,
afford
I
it.
got money.
I got money, bro. Like, I'm not out here balling on a budget.
This is the Comfortably Poor podcast.
Hook it up, nigga.
If you got topics, videos, articles, whatever you got, something for us to
Panties,
bullshit about,
bro.
hit us up. Inbox at
Yo, mail me the
comfortablypoor.com.
panties. Mail me the panties.
Yep.
Yeah, mail him the panties. P.O. Box 6969, fucking Denver, Colorado. Inbox at comfortablypoor.com. Hit us up. Send us your videos, articles, whatever you got. If you come across something that you think would be dope for us to talk about, funny stories, whatever you got. Inbox at comfortablypoor.com. When we're not live, the voicemail line is open. It's the same number, toll free 844-997-0775 or 442-244-9900 at CP Pod 100 across all social media platforms. Fuck with us next Sunday.
Yeah, me. And pull out works. Pull out method works.
Not for everybody.
I always say that.
Unless
No,
it's the A
you just
pussy,
gotta be strong
bro.
with
If it's that grade A pussy, that dick ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Well, that's the one I got pregnant. All right. We gotta go.
That grade